Beep, 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 beep. I can't get over this. Right, I've been laughing for the last 5 minutes. Bloody Humza useless again. It's just insane. Right, this is an article in the Type. Just subscribe, will you? Damn it! Click the button, like it, do the usual, become a warrior teacher. Just buy me a damn coffee if you can. We'll get to the end of the month. Look, the Times, right? So the links are in the doobers as usual. The Times. I couldn't believe the headline. I'm like, that can't be true. This is not possible. That somebody who is attempting to be the leader of a country would say this. But yes, yes. The, can't ride a scooter, fell over in the corridor moron that is Humza Yusuf, right? Okay. Yeah, actually said the gender bill row has boosted support for the SNP. For the love of God. I mean, this is denial. This is lived experience. In my lived experience, oh, these are my interpretation of facts. He's nuts, right? Don't vote. Don't get this. If he gets in, ooh, Scotland, you are in serious trouble. Leadership candidate Humza Useless dismisses rival's proposal to amend legislation. This was written by Catherine Bussey. The SNP leadership contender Humza Yusuf has suggested that the attempt to liberalise gender laws may have gathered a lot of support for the party. I can't. Somebody explain it to me. I don't understand. The would-be, yeah, bloody right he would be First Minister. He'd be First Minister. I can't get my head. Scotland! What are they doing? Just, it's surreal, guys. And girls, come on then. And those as yet undecided. Right, come on. The would-be First Minister spoke about after claims that the SNP's backing for the Gender Recognition Reform Bill may have alienated voters, particularly some women's rights campaigners who fear the impact of changes on single-sex spaces. Useless, the only one of the three candidates running to succeed Nicola Sturgeon, who backs the bill, said, "I suspect we have also gathered a lot of support because of the stance we've taken on equality." He doesn't even know what equality is. AGP equality. I'm sorry. Figures revealed by the SNP last week showed the party had lost 30,000 members in just over a year. Right, here's why he's saying it. I suspect, he said, we have also gathered a lot of support because of the stance we have taken on equality. I don't doubt that for a minute, particularly amongst some of our younger members who have told me as much. He's surveyed a bunch of stupid young people and he's basing his policies on the stupid young people. This can't be real. This absolutely cannot be real. Please tell me it's not real. 30,000 members. After the membership figures were published, both the SNP's communication chief, Murray Foote. Oh, that's great. A communication chief called Foote. And Chief Executive Peter Murrell resigned. They're gone, right? That's because he's got to put his foot in his mouth. Speaking on BBC Radio Scotland's Good Morning Scotland, Yusuf accepted it was not the SNP's finest hour. Do you think? Oh, this can't be real. He said those membership figures. Oh no, hang on a bit. He also described it as a bit of an own goal. Master of the understatement, Humza Useless. He said those membership figures really should have been released at the very beginning of this contest. He dismissed the suggestion from his main rival in the leadership contest, Kate Forbes, that Holyrood should seek to reform the gender recognition legislation in an effort to persuade Westminster to remove its block on the bill. Right? It's not Westminster's block. Why do they keep saying that? It's the Scottish Attorney General's block. Because he knows what the law is, and this guy's an idiot. Right? Along with Kate Forbes, by the sound of it. I wish this was different thing. The UK government issued a Section 35 order preventing the bill from gaining royal assent. And Yusuf is the only leadership candidate who supports challenging this in courts. However, he indicated that that should not happen if legal advice makes clear there is simply no statable case whatsoever for such challenge. The Attorney General of Scotland has told you no, you rambling idiot of a man listening to children. I'm going to be liked by the young. Only an idiot statesman would get on a damn scooter and tumble to the floor like a sack of fucking potatoes in full view of the public eye because he thinks he's down with the kids. It is real. We're not... Am I in the Twilight Zone? Is it? Have I gone into a parallel universe? Right. He said the first principle of any leader, the First Minister in particular, and particularly a leader of the SNP, should be to challenge a Westminster veto on our legislation. That should be the first starting principle. But clearly a First Minister has to act on the legal advice that they are given. Well, why would you be worried about that? You're acting on the advice that's been given to you by a bunch of idiotic leftist young people. If you think this guy cannot be the leader of Scotland, it would be an absolute disaster. I mean, it would be internationally, you'd look like idiots. It cannot be allowed to happen. But clearly a First Minister has to act on the legal advice that they are given. That almost goes without saying. What do you mean, almost? Well, I might take the legal advice. It'll depend on the lived experience of the 16-year-old bloke outside, eating grass. So if legal advice, which I haven't seen, of course, he hasn't seen the legal advice. What? What's he doing? Riding scooters. Pick up the child, kiss the hand, wave at the people, listen to grass-eating 16-year-olds. So if legal advice, which I haven't seen, of course, but if legal advice is there is simply no statable case whatsoever, then of course that would have to be taken into consideration. This is surreal. He's acting like a dictator. He's not following what would be the correct legal advice. He's not even following fact because he wants to get men in women's toilets, right? What the hell is going on with this weirdo? Scotland the brave with this absolute weak as water man who brought in the most dreadful legislation that's currently being held in limbo. He's an authoritarian, dangerous man because he's stupid. They are? Humza useless? My starting principle has not changed, he said. My starting principle is very much the case that we should challenge that Section 35 order, challenge that Westminster veto. That position hasn't changed. What is wrong? I mean, he's not well. Right? It's just, it'd be all right if the Scottish people supported it. They don't. Nobody supports it. He dismissed nobody with any sense. He dismissed the idea that the bill, which aims to simplify and speed up the process that enables transgender people to obtain a gender recognition certificate, should be amended. Yusuf pointed out that MSPs had debated hundreds of amendments and ignored the ones they didn't like because they're too busy talking to grass-eating 16-year-olds and using lived experience as their ability to run a damned country. You utter disgrace, man! This can't be real. He added, if we are now setting a precedent that when the UK government decides to veto legislation passed by a majority, that our response should be to amend legislation. What are you... This was agreed in the Scotland... This is absolutely... I think he's negligent. He's unfit for office. There is no other way to describe it. Our response should be to amend legislation when we've already discussed hundreds of amendments and passed the bill simply to appease the UK government. It's not about appeasing the UK government. You're part of the UK. You ignorant twerp. I think that is wrong, a wrong precedent and a pretty dangerous precedent to set. That the UK government does what was agreed by Scotland in the Scotland Act is a wrong precedent, a pretty dangerous precedent to set. That we abide by the laws that the Scottish people and the UK people agreed on. You utter disgrace of a politician. You are a liar. Humza useless, a liar. And you're a dangerous totalitarian. With your wibbling nonsense. He vowed to build up the progressive agenda for the SNP if he is elected to succeed Sturgeon. When he accepted he had been labelled as the continuity candidate, Yusuf said, I will very much be my own man. I will have my own leadership style. Really? What's that? Chaotic? Chaotic neutral? Lawful evil? I will bring forward policy, as I have done and suggested over the last 4 weeks, that will build upon the progressive agenda that has done us so well as a party. He's in absolute denial of the decimation of his party by his progressive wokist credentials. He's in absolute denial. And we see this with individuals. You've got friends who are like it, and so have I. This is a mind virus. He has been parasitized by wokeism, and he is unfit for office because he's an ideologue. He's unfit for office. It is a progressive agenda which has seen us gather popular support. I mean, he's lying to himself and to the country. We are today still by far, by quite considerable distance, the most popular party in Scotland. Yeah, not for long, mate. I'm not complacent about that, but 30,000 in a year, you better not be complacent. I'm not complacent about that, but if people want to label me continuity, well, continuing with that good record of election wins is no bad thing, but I will certainly bring my own mark to it. He is not listening to the people. He has lost touch. He is an elite who is out of touch. Michael Gove, the Community Secretary at Westminster, said that diminishing support for gender reforms showed that blocking those changes was wise and proportionate. He told the Commons Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee that the law was pretty friendless. Well, that's to say the least. It's the most extraordinary thing, and I can't believe it's real, but it obviously is. I think he's dangerous, but that's down to Scotland to decide. It's not for me to say. There's something terribly wrong here. I can't believe this is real, but it is. That's the article in the Times, in the Dubris. Become a warrior teacher. Buy me a coffee. I'm going to have to read it again so I can laugh some more. Buy me a coffee. Support me on Stripe. Whatever the hell you can do. Give us a hand. I'm going to build my studio. I'm going to have a studio. Isn't that extraordinary? See you later.